BlackClover's 3-month hiatus left a lot for us to think about and predict for the series' eventual return. Would there be a time skip? Would Lucius immediately begin to act on his plans, or wait? Well, there was a 15-month time skip, and Lucius did act immediately upon BlackClover's weekly return. But one thing that I honestly never thought about was Yami's sister being a prominent character. And now we're here. Ichika, Asta's new sensei, is also Yami's sister. Not only that, but her introduction actually gives us a very interesting revelation. That Yami isn't actually his given name. That's his family name, as once Ichika defeats some bandits in the town, the citizens call her Lady Yami, meaning that Yami's first name is actually Tsukihiro. But as with any manga, when a badass new female character is introduced, the hype is real. And this has spawned some of the funniest discourse in the fandom that I've seen in the longest time. That revolves around the power scaling question for Ichika, how strong is she? And the general fandom notion is an incredibly wide range. I've seen people arguing that Ichika wouldn't even stand a chance against Dante. I saw it go as low as that Ichika would lose to 50% Dante. There's also a sizable contingency of the fandom that believes Ichika would not only solo the Spade Saga captain, scaling her above the Yami that could scratch Lucifero, and even there being arguments of her not only scaling above Lucifero, yes, the one that Asta needed true Devil Union to defeat, but also that she scales above Lucifero's 100% full power. I know what you're going to say. Some girl being stronger than the King of Devils makes no sense. I get it. You're sexist. Okay, no. It really doesn't matter if it was a boy or a girl. I agree that it would be crazy for someone who might not even be the strongest in her own kingdom be somehow stronger than 100% Lucifero, the King of Devils, and a god of gravity. If we were speaking strictly from a narrative standpoint, it really wouldn't be the best writing if that were the case. But just because power progression is being handled poorly, that's not grounds for a logical refutation of said scaling. So I'm going to go through Ichika's abilities and feats, and discuss how strong she is within the narrative of BlackClover. While Ichika bodies some local bandits, those characters are featless and pretty much unscalable. At best, you could argue that they scale to, or above, base Ichika, since she felt the need to use Zetten against them. But even Asta could tell that she was holding back here, so it's actually hard to say, and even then, base Ichika is pretty much unscalable as well. But we do get to see her in a full-on fight with Asta. Ichika is not only fast enough to land many blows on Asta, these blows not only damaging him, but also sending him flying away. Once she finds an opening, she's also able to one-tap Asta and force him out of his full black form. This means Ichika's speed and attack potency scale to this version of Asta. While you might think she has no durability scaling because Asta never lands an attack, this isn't the case, since Ichika takes no damage from the collision of her punches against Asta. So the reason why that Ichika has durability scaling to full black form Asta is because she punched him and it did no damage to her. Don't do it, but envision you try punching a steel wall as hard as you can. Your hand is going to break, meaning that you don't have the durability to punch the wall. But because Ichika, her hand did not get hurt from punching Asta, meaning that she actually has the durability scaling to him. So she doesn't have to take a punch from Asta or a slash from Asta to have her durability scale to him. What that means is that Ichika scales to this version of Black Form Asta's durability, his full Black Form as I said. It's likely a far higher power multiplier than even his Berserk form, as it has more horns and wings. But many people will tell you that no, Ichika doesn't have any scaling to this version of Asta. They say this because that they believe that Ichika is just a hard counter to Asta because she doesn't use magic, she uses ki and she fights physically. Therefore, she does not scale to Asta, and therefore has no scaling to characters that Asta scales to. Not only is it untrue that Ichika is just a pure physical fighter, but it also wouldn't even matter if it was. Asta can destroy or damage pure physical objects with his anti-magic. In fact, he can still do this to a relative degree to what his anti-magic can do against magic. We saw this against the Grid. Asta was able to destroy the physically constructed trident. This is consistent, as the Grid would then use also Storm of Blades, which creates a mixture of magically constructed blades and actual physically constructed blades. Sure, Asta's anti-magic fared better against the magical swords. He could destroy them, but he could still parry the physical ones as well, and just completely negate the force that they would provide. And these blades are essentially the same level of power, despite being made differently, as Yami can also effortlessly parry or negate the physical and magical blade as well. So yeah, it really wouldn't even matter if Ichika was a pure physical fighter on these grounds. Ichika would still scale to full Black Form Asta, just to a slightly smaller degree. But as I said, the notion of Ichika being a pure physical fighter, it's either a lie or a misunderstanding. It isn't even just her using ki on top of her physical strength. The basis for her power is magical. This sort of begs the question, what is this mysteriously powerful technique known as Zetten? Zetten, or Heavenly Severance, is a technique used by the Land of the Sun to vastly increase their magic power. It is said that the creator of the technique had the ability to split the heavens in two. Here's how the Land of the Sun Shogun Ryu explains Zetten. Ki is the flow of life energy. Everybody manipulates it unconsciously, turning it into Yoryoku. You do a super precise version of that on purpose. Take the Yoryoku inside yourself and make it erupt all at once. Zetten. Ichika Zetten, empowered chop, slices the bamboo in half, and directly thereafter she says, the amount of your Yoryoku and its speed generate explosive power. Now remember that it was told to us that Yojutsu is magic or spells, whereas Yoryoku is magic power or mana. So let's go through and just reread that, swapping out magic power instead of Yoryoku. Ki is the flow of life energy. Everybody manipulates it unconsciously, turning it into magic power. You do a super precise version of that on purpose. Take the magic power inside yourself, make it erupt all at once. Zetten. So yeah, it's pretty clear that Zetten still uses magic power. Zetten is simply just using ki to augment and increase your magic power, and this is what Asta even states as well. I never even considered using ki that way. Is it sort of like those mana skins everybody else uses except with ki and then radiated? Since I've got that contract with Liebe, maybe. And then Ryu interrupts Asta. You saw how she used ki, right? You had that devil. Anti-magic flows through you now. Use that instead of Yoryoku and give it a shot. When Asta uses Zetten, it actually produces an anti-magic effect as it erodes away at the bamboo that had been grown with Yoryoku. Not only that, but we see anti-magic power floating in the air around Asta as he does his chop. So if an anti-magic attack is the outcome for Asta's Zetten, then by that logic, magic or mana is the outcome of a Zetten attack from users who use mana or Yoryoku. This is actually backed up already, as when Ichika lands her first blow on Asta, it's even stated that Asta's anti-magic took the edge off of Ichika's Yoryoku. Now a lot of people read chapter 341, Asta gets clapped by a few members of the Ryuzen 7, and he remarks that they didn't use magic, and people are using this to try and downplay Ichika by saying that because she doesn't use magic, she doesn't actually scale to Asta. But as I've already proved, not only are physical attacks are just a simple pseudo-weakness to Asta's power, but this is simply just another misunderstanding. Asta even corrects himself here. Those people, none of them used magic, or no, I guess it's Yojutsu here. Remember that Yojutsu equals magic, and magic is spells. So essentially all that Asta is saying is they didn't use any spells against him. They're still using magical powers and magically reinforced attacks. And the actually concussive effect of Zetten is based on magic power, as I've already proved, especially when it's used by people who have mana. Keep in mind that it was stated that the original creator of Zetten, his or her Yojutsu, or the spell that they used, was strong enough with Zetten to split the heavens, further supporting that Zetten is a magical act when you have magical power. So now that I proved that Ichika isn't a weakness to Asta and Liebe's anti-magic, and that she does in fact scale above Asta's full black form, let's tackle one of the first matchups that Twitter went crazy over, Ichika versus Dante. Dante has a few different levels of power we can go over, but I believe we should start with his pre-Morris amp 80% power, as discussing any power below that is utterly pointless. Devil Arm Black Asta has scaling to 80% Dante. While he did need Yami's help to fight him, that was mainly because of Dante's insane regeneration. Keep in mind that this was an Asta so deprived of stamina that he could only use his anti-magic for 50 seconds. So if this version of Black Form Asta is already comparable to 80% Dante, and if Ichika is stronger than this version of Asta, does this mean that Ichika could win against Dante? Well, yeah, and it's not even close. Here's why. Asta gets rapidly stronger after his fight with Dante. Not only did he fight Dante with almost no stamina, as I said, and thus likely not at full strength, but Asta immediately gets stronger, as it's stated that once he is contracted with Liebe, he can summon the anti-magic power to an even greater and easier degree. He then trains with Nixk for 3 days and gets stronger. Now take this version of Asta, who already scales above 80% Dante, slap 15 months of training on top of that, as well as a full black form on top of his two-horn black form. Yeah, it's not even close. This version of Asta would absolutely drag 80% Dante, and therefore Ichika would as well. Now this begs the question, right? Is Ichika really going to be strong enough to withstand a presence of the Demon King from Dante, or a gravity singularity? Well, actually yes, and quite easily. Presence of the Demon King is a spell of Lucifero that is used by him, Dante, and even Morris. While of course Lucifero's would be the strongest of the three, the limits of the spell should be granted relative to the amount of magic power used. While we have seen hacks like Black Moon and Stars granting characters the ability to withstand the gravity, somehow, it's gotten this notion by the fandom that you have to have hacks to counter it. But that's actually not the case at all. There are more instances of characters withstanding Presence of the Demon King via sheer power, rather than hacks. For example, Yami could actually withstand Presence of the Demon King with Mana Skin. He just needed Black Moon to be able to fight in it. Asta was able to withstand Presence of the Demon King with Lucifero. He just needed to transform to be able to fight in it as well. Whereas Mario Leona was able to fight in Presence of the Demon King after Valhalla was destroyed, meaning that she was simply strong enough to withstand it. All the captains were giving a magic power boost from Valhalla, which gave them the ability to fight in it as well. Magna could fight Dante in the gravity because their magic power was equalized. Also, Henry could stand in Morse's gravity once he stole some of his magic power and added it to his own. So yeah, it's actually quite consistent that as long as you're strong enough, you can withstand Presence of the Demon King and its gravity. Now you might question whether or not Ichika is really that strong. If she's only a little bit stronger than Dante, then maybe she couldn't withstand the presence of the Demon King. Well, if you're not convinced, take this. Just remember that the Devil Union Asta that was already above the twins, and the twins above 100% Dante. But Asta's base got a lot stronger over the course of the Spade saga from there, as he went from struggling Lucifero's gravity to not being affected by it while he walked through it, as well as 15 months of getting drastically stronger on top of his base form. We know that Yuno and Asta grow at similar rates, and Adramelech was shocked with how strong a base Yuno was, saying that Yuno got far stronger than he possibly could have imagined, likely meaning that base Yuno currently is stronger than full Spirit Dive Yuno from the Spade saga. You may have not realized this, but there's actually a mistranslation as well by the official BlackClover translation team, Viz. Here, Asta said that his Devil Union did not work against Ichika. This is incorrect, because we know he actually didn't even use his Devil Union against Ichika. We know what Devil Union looks like, whereas TCB Scans actually gets the translation correct. And what Asta really says is that Ichika is so strong that not even his Devil Union would be enough to defeat her. So the fact that Ichika at this moment scaled above Asta's Devil Union confirms that 100% Dante would be nowhere near close to Ichika's power. You could even argue that it's greater than a 60 times difference, as Asta's Berserk form was over a 60 times multiplier on top of Black Form 2 Black Divider, as it performed better against 60% Dante than Black Form 2 Black Divider did against base Dante. And because a 1% increase in Devil Power was a phenomenal increase for Vonica 50 to 51%, that means that 1% Devil Power is stronger than their base selves, and going from 1 to 60% is a 60 times boost. That would mean that it's a 60 times multiplier from Black Form 2 Black Divider to Berserk form. Asta's full Black form is likely a superior form to Berserk, as it has the full set of horns and both wings. So yeah, Devil Arm Asta was already comparable to 80% Dante. Now he has a much stronger base over 15 months, and stack on a form that is likely over 60 times stronger than what he used to scale to Dante, etc. So yeah, Ichika easily withstands 80% Dante's gravity. Keep in mind that when Lucifero uses Presence of the Demon King, it's the same spell, just with more magic power. So the same logic follows when I compared Ichika to Lucifero later on. And the Singularity? Well, despite them being hacks themselves, we know that pure power can neg their effects, as Yami's Death Thrust was simply pure condensed magic power, and that bypassed the Singularity, even though it was able to counter Dimension Slash prior. This leads us to the final counter argument for Ichika defeating Dante, that he's just going to keep regenerating no matter how much damage Ichika dishes out. But this is along the lines of a no limits fallacy. Just because we've seen Dante regenerate a lot doesn't mean that he can do it indefinitely. In fact, we've seen that when Dante fights someone equal to him, he actually runs out of magic power rather quickly. This happened with Magna. Ichika is someone who is considerably stronger than him, so he likely loses magic power at an even faster rate, and Ichika has such a decisive power advantage that she could suppress herself as to not run out of stamina, and still be strong enough to damage or mortally wound Dante. I believe I provided more than enough evidence that Ichika just absolutely clobbers Dante, even at his 100% power, let alone his 80% power. So today's video is sponsored by me and you, and that is the members of this channel. If you want to become a member of the channel, you get access to a bunch of cool different emotes and other rewards, but I want to tell you guys that the biggest thing I am doing now is that for all members, you'll be getting a exclusive member video every single week. If you become a Brigade Captain member, you'll get an extra video per month on top of those one video every single week. And all Wizard King level members will be getting 2 exclusive member videos per week. That is 8 to 9 videos per month at $15 a month, which is less than $2 a video. And that is also on top of other rewards, like you'll be getting access to the Wizard King Roundtable, which is a discussion I'll have with all of you guys every single month. So if you guys really want to help support the channel and you also want extra videos on the side besides my video projects I'm currently doing, then please become a member. You will get a lot of extra videos as well as helping support the channel. The member videos this week are Elemental Advantages, overrated or underrated. And for Wizard King level members, they will get that Elemental Advantage video, as well as the Spirit Guardians are stronger than you thought. So let's get to the more controversial debate in the community, Ichika versus Lucifero. Honestly, this part of the debate has the most toxicity to it. The big bad of the previous saga versus one small girl. Now, I'll get into the narrative aspect of it at the end of the video and why it isn't necessarily the best writing, but let's go over the actual power scaling. But here's why I believe that Ichika actually scales above 50% Lucifero. Why scale purely based on retroactive logic? Asta actually has feats in this new arc, and that is scaling to base Lucius with his partial union form. My previous video project, Has Asta Surpassed True Devil Union, went in depth on how Asta in the final saga currently scales, and I had to scale base Lucius in that video. Please watch that video for a full breakdown, as I'm only going to quickly skim here. Base Lucius is stronger than 100% Lucifero because he absorbed Lucifero's power and actually produced better feats than him. And Asta scales to base Lucius in his partial Devil Union form. He negates his spells, lands hits on him, sending him flying away, etc., forcing Lucius to recognize Asta's strength and then transform into his Paladin state. The crazy part is that Ichika scales above partial Union Asta because she's actually above Asta's Devil Union, as he states himself. Since partial Union is a weaker form and lasts for twice as long, it's likely half as strong as Devil Union, meaning that Ichika is more than 2 times stronger than the partial Devil Union that Asta scales above 100% Lucifero with. So based off of that, Ichika has the needed scaling to put her above Devil Union Asta. That puts her above partial Union, which means she scales to base Lucius, and thus puts her scaling above 100% Lucifero. Now just because she has scaling above 100% Lucifero doesn't confirm that she'd beat him in a fight, though I believe this version of Ichika definitely defeats 50% Lucifero though. But before we cover the actual fight between Ichika and Lucifero, let's keep going, as this is not even close to the end of Ichika Yami's insane power scaling. As it turned out, when she first fought Asta, she was not even going close to all out. She was never using her scroll, which, in the Land of the Sun, the scroll is equivalent to the grimoire. Remember, it's been stated and shown numerous times that when given a grimoire, your magic power and potency of your magic increases tremendously. Not only that, but Ichika uses her scroll to activate a spell transformation, the Dark Cloaked Black Warrior. In this spell of hers, she can create another spell called Black Star that literally lets her pull a Darth Vader and pull Black Form Asta towards her with a gravitational force. Despite in his full black form, Asta is utterly helpless within the gravitational pull of Black Star, and it forces Asta to transform into partial union. What this means is that Dark Cloaked Black Warrior Ichika is actually stronger than base Zetten Ichika, because full black form Asta could at least fend off Ichika's magic, yet it was helpless against her transformation. With Zetten being anywhere between a 10 to 100 times multiplier depending on the translation, this makes her transformation greater than a 10 to 100 times multiplier, as she also wasn't even using Zetten at this point in the fight against Asta, only her magic. But it gets even crazier as Asta would apply Zetten on top of his partial union, and Ichika, with her Zetten, completely negates Asta's attack and sends him flying away. Now sure, Asta has not perfected Zetten, but he's still using it. We see the visual flair of Zetten, and even Ichika recognizes that Asta used it against her, but she just thought hers was way better. Let's say Asta's only halfway there, which I think is downplay because Asta's been using Zetten for a bit now. It's just about using it at the right time, in the perfect way. Asta had the power of Zetten here, he just didn't activate it in the right opening. Still, Ichika negated its power. If we assume Asta's Zetten is only halfway there, then Asta's Zetten is a 5 to 50 times multiplier. That makes Zetten partial union Asta 5 to 50 times stronger than the Asta that fought Lucius. But wait, Asta's been training since the fight with Lucius, working with Zetten, training with Ichika and the other Ryuzen. We can actually quantify how much stronger Asta's gotten. It's over 2 times stronger. Asta, when fighting base Zetten Ichika, considered his Devil Union useless against her, yet now is fighting a stronger version of Ichika with only partial union. You can quantify Devil Union as a 2 times multiplier, as I mentioned earlier, so current partial union Asta is over 2 times stronger when he fought base Lucius. With Zetten, that makes him 10 to 100 times stronger now. Absolutely insane levels of power, I know. Current partial union Zetten Asta is 10 to 100 times stronger than 100% Lucifero, and that makes him 20 to 200 times stronger than 50% Lucifero. And Ichika literally negged his Zetten strike and kicked him into the waves like it was nothing. Are y'all really going to try and argue that Lucifero stands a chance against Ichika? Well, I actually understand. To some of you, this is just power scaling nonsense. You would want a feat-to-feat comparison between Ichika and Lucifero before scaling, right? Like if the two of them punched a magical wall that calculated how much damage they did, you'd want to see who did more damage to it. Unfortunately, we don't get a feat-to-feat comparison between the two. Oh wait, we actually do get a feat-to-feat comparison between Ichika and Lucifero, and Ichika overshadows the Devil King. Seeing as Ichika's Black Star literally creates a gravitational effect, and both Ichika and Lucifero have used their gravity on Asta, let's see which of them has a greater effect on the anti-magic boyo. After Asta broke his limits toward the end of the Spade Saga, he's able to walk through Lucifero's gravity in his base with barely an inconvenience, even able to withstand 50% Lucifero's gravity. What possibly can Ichika's gravity do? Well, keep in mind that Asta's base got way stronger over the 15-month time skip, and has a full black form on top of it, yet Asta was completely helpless in Ichika's gravity. He couldn't resist it at all. He couldn't move. So Ichika literally performs a greater feat against a far superior Asta that Lucifero placed his gravity upon. I already know that people are going to try and counter and say that Lucifero was only at 50% power, but Ichika wasn't even close to full power either. She was at either 1% or 10% power, depending on the Zetten multiplier translation, and yet still performed a far superior feat. We can only scale 100% Lucifero to twice as strong as his 50% self, and people love to try and bring into this debate,
Well, if Lucifero had a grimoire, he'd win.
well, if somebody does that, what they're doing is conceding that Ichika does in fact win the discussed versus battle, because trying to give Lucifero a grimoire is shifting the topic, and a grimoire isn't going to overcome a 10 to 200 times difference in power. So yeah, Ichika is 10 to 100 times stronger than 100% Lucifero, and 20 to 200 times stronger than 50% Lucifero. So obviously she'll be strong enough to beat the shit out of him. I understand that you need to be arcane to destroy a devil heart. Ichika likely is arcane, as she has dark magic and is related to the Kijin. Kijin meaning demon, and the leader of the Kijin and Black Clover are called demon lords. So it's likely that the dark magic is tied to forbidden magic, and that everybody who has dark magic in the Yami clan is arcane. But even if she wasn't arcane, she could still defeat Lucifero in a fight, as devils can be knocked unconscious. We've seen this with Liebe. If Liebe can be knocked unconscious, then so can Lucifero. In fact, Asta even knocks Lucifero unconscious, so GG's Lucifero. I already know people are going to try and bring back Lucifero's presence to the Demon King, but as I already proved, if you're strong enough, you can move in the spell pretty easily. Ichika is so much stronger than Lucifero, it doesn't even matter. She might not even notice that Lucifero is putting a gravity effect on her. And as for a singularity, I already again proved that if you are strong enough, you can overcome the hacks of the singularity. Yami did this with Monozone Condense, and we've actually seen in other cases in Black Clover, pure power can overpower hacks, like Zenon's bones overpowering Longris's spatial magic and actually hitting him. But yeah, that's the video. Ichika is bare minimum well above Dante, and would put up a fight against 50% Lucifero no matter what anybody else says, though there is still more evidence supporting her actually defeating the Devil King. Everyone please be civil in the comments. I know most people are going to be wary of the scaling. Twitter warned me of that, but it really reminds me of Zagred scaling right after the Spade Saga started. People were chastising me for scaling the Dark Triad above Zagred, and the Dark Disciples relative to Zagred. And now, thanks to new metas and more information that the series provided, even the 40% Dark Disciples now clap Zagred, and even the 5% Spade Captains should put up a good fight at bare minimum thanks to scaling added by the anime canon. And this isn't some power scaling bullshit. The actual narrative supports this. Remember that stage 1 equals you can keep up in a fight with a devil stronger than Zagred, which means stage 0, you would fight a devil stronger than Zagred pretty well. The Spirit Guardians were stage 0 pre-time skip. They got stronger before the Heart Squad arrived, then they got stronger training with the Heart Squad, and then they got no-diffed by the 50% Dark Disciples. So the narrative ended up supporting Zagred being fodder, which is exactly what's going to happen with Lucifero. I'm not defending the writing. I think that in no world, narratively, should Ichika scale to Lucifero, but crazier things have happened before. So many people have surpassed Zagred, so many people have surpassed Licht and Lumiere. It just happens. It's a battle series, it's a shonen battle series with power progression and power cliffing. Oh yeah, And Ichika, how strong would she be in other verses? Well, she'd be planetary and hundreds of thousands of times faster than light. She'd actually be into the large planetary terms of power with the transformation that she has and Zetten on top of that transformation. If you want more of an explanation for that scale, watch my Planetary Asta YouTube short, or watch the Julius video for a full-ass explanation. Thank you guys so much for the support. Please let me know your thoughts of this video down below. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, Ichika is a lot stronger than you thought. She's a lot stronger than I thought. And if anybody wants to discuss this with me, you can join my Discord down below. Also follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to become a member if you want to support the channel. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Peace out.